Okay, so this is chapter 9, managing the impacts of tourism. Okay, tourism development will bring changes to a place. The kind of impacts that tourism brings to a place, of course, ay siguradong meron. Okay, so pwedeng negative, pwedeng positive. Okay, pwedeng sabihin natin na maraming positive things because of course it helps the country, for example, to earn or provides job to people, pero meron at meron pa rin itong ibinibigay na negative impact. So, the kind of impacts that tourism brings to a place is determined by how tourism itself is managed. Okay, so kung maayos naman na ma-manage yung tourism, then that's good. Pwedeng yung negative impact natin ay ma-reduce or ma-lessen. So this chapter discusses the impact management process, tourism management options, and various mitigation measures for negative impacts of tourism. Okay, so the tourism impact management process, it consists of impact assessment, monitoring, evaluation, and mitigation. Um, Impact assessment is carried out to identify the changes that a tourism project may create in a particular location and to interventions that will prevent its potential negative impacts from happening. The assessment should cover the environmental, social, and economic dimensions of tourism to ensure sustainability. The requirement for tourism impact is a legal basis. So, when we're actually doing the tourism planning, okay, so we do processes like assessment, monitoring, evaluation, mitigation, okay? So, yung evaluation na yan, sabi ko assessment, monitoring, evaluation, and mitigation. Yung evaluation na yan, actually, from the assessment part, sa assessment part pa lang ay tayo ay gumagawa na ng evaluation. Okay, ine-evaluate na rin natin. Nag-evaluate na rin tayo during the assessment process. And even during the application of the steps, pag ginagawa natin yung proseso, so nag-evaluate pa rin tayo. So ang purpose natin yan is why we do the evaluation at the same time, together with these steps, is para malaman natin if a certain plan is producing a negative impact. Okay? So, sa una pa lang, pag nakita mo na-evaluate mo na meron ng negative impact or hindi siya makakabuti, so we can at least change the plan. We can change the procedure or the process. Okay? Or if we continue, makakaisip na agad tayo ng mga strategies, okay, para ma-minimize kahit papaano yung mga negative impact. Okay? So, yun. And then, of course, at the end of the management process, so, andun ulit yung evaluation to see how effective your steps or planning process is. Okay, so we have here the Philippine Environmental Impact Statement System, or PEISS. It is established in 1978 by Presidential Decree number 1586. It was enacted to attain and maintain a rational and orderly balance between socio-economic growth and environmental protection. Under the PEISS, ECPs and projects that may have potentially damaging impacts in an ECA are required to secure ECC. So, ano ba itong Philippine Environmental Impact Statement System? So, under the system, okay, so, kailangan ay, for example, ang isang project, okay, tourism project, kailangan ng company ngayon na mag-submit ng environmental impact statement. Environmental impact statement or EIS. Okay? Yun yung nakakapaloob dyan ha, sa PEISS. So, nakakapaloob dyan na kailangan yung any tourism project, yung company mag-submit ng environmental impact assessment. Okay? It has to be prepared for every proposed ECP. Okay, when you see ECP, environmentally critical project, okay, or project found within an ECA. ECA is the environmentally critical areas. Okay, so for example, merong isang project na gagawin, okay, and then yung project na yun ay considered as ECP or environmentally critical project. So, kailangan mag-submit sila ng ECA or yung environmental impact statement. Nakapaloob kasi dito sa EIS yung probable impact ng project na yon, which have been discerned from conducting the EIA. I believe ito yung naging problema doon sa, if I'm not mistaken, okay, doon sa nangyari sa Bohol, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, ay ito yung kulang, yung EIS, Environmental Impact System. Okay, so again, ano ba itong ECP? Sabi natin kanina, kailangan yung isang tourism project, yung company, pag may gagawing ECP, kailangan ay magsabit ng EIS. Okay? Ano ba yung mga ECP? ECP is environmentally critical projects. Okay? Example, mining, road and bridges, golf courses. Itong mga environmentally critical projects, they have significant potential to cause negative environmental impacts. Okay, so another example ng environmentally critical projects, yung mga heavy industries like yung mga iron and steel mills, petroleum and petrochemical industries including oil and gas. Yung kagaya sabi natin, mining or quarrying projects, logging, okay, logging, kasama dyan. Ano pa ba? Fishery projects, for example, yung mga paggagawa ng mga dike, fish pond development project, major dams, kasama dyan. Major roads and bridges, kasama din yan sa environmentally critical projects kasi baka mamaya yung gagawing road, of course, syempre pag gumagawa ng road, meron tayong mga nasisirang parts ng environment. For example, yung mga trees. Okay? So, kasama dyan yun. Okay, so yun yung environmentally critical projects. Example pa pala ng environmentally critical projects ay yung golf course. So, it is considered as environmentally critical projects kasi malaki na nagiging epekto ng golf course sa environment. Ito kasi, sa golf course kasi, it requires more land. Mas malaki yung lupa na ginagamit dito sa golf course. Of course, natural habitats are destroyed and native species are forced to leave their homes. Kasi malaking lupa ang kailangan sa golf course. Isa pa, sa golf course, nagkakaroon tayo ng problem with water management. Kasi yung golf course kasi kailangan niya ng 9 million gallons of water a day. Kasi para ma-maintain yung lush condition ng lupa at ng mga damo sa golf course. So, marami itong kinakain na tubig. Kailangan na tubig. Okay, so of course, other areas, so nasasayang yung tubig dahil sa golf course. So, natitreaten yung ibang plants and animals and also the communities na malapit sa golf course. Okay, and then, of course, gumagamit din kasi ng mga pesticides sa golf industry. Kasi kailangan nilang i-trim yung mga yung sa mga damo, okay, sa grass, sa golf course, which are actually vulnerable to pest. So yun, kasama yung golf sa ECP or environmentally critical projects. Okay, ito namang ECA or environmentally critical areas. Examples are habitats of endangered species of animals, areas possessing historic, archaeological, and geologic values, ancestral domains of indigenous people, prime agricultural land, mangroves, and coral reef. So, itong mga environmentally critical areas, so these are area which is considered as environmentally sensitive, such as that significant environmental impacts are expected if certain types. So, itong ECA, so ito yung mga area na naaapektuhan ng ECP or ng environmentally critical project. Okay. So, okay, so now we have this ECC. ECC is the Environmental Clearance Certificate. So the ECC is a requirement for projects or activities that have the potential to cause significant environmental impacts. So the tourism sector or tourism project, they have to obtain this ECC. It's a necessary step before a project or activity can proceed. Okay, so who needs to get ECC? So any type of project created in the Philippines that may affect the environment must secure an environmental compliance certificate or ECC from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources or from the DENR. So kailangan nila mag-submit ng ECC. Yan. Okay. EIA is Environmental Impact Assessment. Ay, ang daming i-memorize. Okay. EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment, is a procedure for evaluating and predicting the environmental impacts of a project during construction, commissioning, operation, and abandonment. So, ang main purpose ng environmental impact assessment, it is to identify of course, yung potential risk of a project. Okay? To identify the potential risk of a project to the environment and to the human well-being, and of course, to identify the measures to eliminate or at least mitigate this risk. Mitigate meaning to reduce the risk. So, yun yung purpose ng environmental impact assessment. So, social impact assessment is the process of identifying and managing the social impact of industrial projects. Social dimension has to do with gender and development. So, SIA is para malaman yung impact ng project sa tao. Okay, social, to people. And then, kasama din dito yung GAD, yung gender and development. So, gender and development is defined by the Magna Carta of Women, RA number 9710, as the participatory and empowering, equitable, sustainable, free from violence, respectful of human rights, supportive of self-determination, and actualization of human potentials. So yung GAD, it seeks to achieve gender equality, pantay-pantay, as a fundamental value that should be reflected in development choices, and contends that women are active agents of development, not just passive recipients of development. So, for example, as employment, okay? Employment of tourism professionals. So, dapat pantay-pantay, men, women, or members ng ating LGBTQ. So, yun ang purpose ng GAD or GAD. Okay? So, dapat ay pantay-pantay. Alright, so GAD indicators for tourism sector. So, meron tayong entrepreneurial leadership development. So, that's number 1. Sinasabi dito na yung percentage, okay, ng number ng women sa management position ay dapat ay pantay-pantay lang in tourism-related businesses and organization. Number 2, entrepreneurial systems improvement. The number of legislation and policies, okay, mga laws passed that consider the differential impact of the issuance on women and men, or address the social problems that may escalate with increased tourism. So, with the law, legislation, and policies, so dapat ay pantay-pantay din yan. Okay? So, pare-pareho may karapatan. Enterprise development, number of jobs created for women and men. Okay? So, dapat may balance. Capacity building program, proportion of women to total training participants, proportion of women trainers, okay? So, dapat maging trainer din ang woman. So, hindi pwedeng ang women. Hindi pwedeng dahil babae ka, hindi ka na pwedeng maging trainer. Okay, so ganon. The economic impacts of tourism may be assessed in terms of the industry's contribution to the gross national product or the gross domestic product. Okay, so this is in terms of financial income. So, dapat ay nagko-contribute economically ang ating turismo. So, nakabase yan sa gross national product at sa gross domestic product. Managing the impacts of tourism. So, ways by which such impacts could be managed sustainably. Okay, so option 1 is for tourism policymakers and developers to not allow tourism development at all. So, okay, so for example, so paano ba i-manage yung impact ng tourism? So, for example, talagang yung isang tourism project ay nagbibigay ng malaking threat. Okay, so not only the environment, but for the people. So, there's an option for the tourism policy makers and developers na hindi i-approve yung tourism development at all. Okay? So, pwede yun. So, this is particularly true for mga sensitive environments, yung mga strict nature reserves, ancestral domains of indigenous people, hazard-prone areas. Okay, so the tourism development may be put on hold when the site is not tourism ready. Okay, so yun. So, pwedeng hindi muna ituloy ang development or will not be pushed through the development at all. Okay. Option 2 is to allow controlled tourism. Controlled. This is the proper approach if the goal is to minimize the negative effects of tourism on the environment and the community. Okay, in the pandemic that began in 2020, at some point, domestic and international were totally banned to prevent the COVID-19 virus from spreading. Even when tourism opened up, LGU still required swab testing, online bookings for the tourists, and the observance of strict health and safety protocols in hotels, restaurants, and other tourism enterprises. So controlled control may be imposed on the form of tourism to be developed, the length of stay allowed for visitors, and the types of tourists to be admitted. Kumbaga, the tourism development may pursue, okay, may be pushed through, pero sabi nga ay controlled. So, limitations have to be set, okay, by the DOT or by the governing office, okay, na mag-accredit, for example, ng isang project. Okay? So, yun. Even, di ba, yung sa sites carrying capacity, so, kapag mayroon lang tayong hindi pwede na ang isang lugar ay mag-overcrowd. Okay? So, it's just one example of controlled tourism. Okay? So, by setting lang kung ilang tourist ang pwede makapasok sa tourist area. Option 3 is to maximize the economic benefits of tourism by promoting mass tourism. Okay, mass tourism. So, alam naman natin pag mass tourism is there are a lot of tourists visiting, for example, a place. So, this will mean promoting a destination to as many types of tourists as possible, increasing their volume, increasing their length of stay, and providing several tourism products and services for them to spend their money on. So, sa national level, visa rules may be relaxed for the target market. So, kumbaga parang okay lang, mabilis lang mag-grant ng visa or granting visa-free entry or visa pan-arrival policies yan for as many nationalities as possible. Kasi ang purpose sa option 3 is mass tourism. Okay, yan ang goal dyan sa option 3. However, of course, sa mass tourism, dyan sa option 3 na yan is meron tayo mga negative consequences sa society and the environment. Problems like prostitution and environmental degradation could happen when too much focus is placed on the economic dimension of tourism. So like what happened in Netherlands, sa Amsterdam, specifically sa Amsterdam, is the government believed that mass tourism can help the economy. So what they did is they promoted Amsterdam a lot. Ang dami nilang ginawa mga marketing strategy. So, nagtagumpay naman sila. So, halos mas madami yung tourists kaysa sa local people. However, nag-arise talaga yung mga problema like prostitution, alcohol. Okay, even along the road may mga nagbebenta ng alcohol. Prostitution is everywhere. Yung tinatawag nating red light district. So, yun. So, mass tourism is good and bad at the same time. Option 4 is maximizing the local benefits from tourism. Okay, maximizing the local benefits from tourism. There are several practices that can be adopted to achieve this. So, pwedeng mag-local source ng raw materials. Okay, so kung anong meron sa lugar natin na raw materials, yun ang gagamitin. Hindi na mag-aangkat, hindi na mag-i-import. recruitment of local staff. Hindi na tayo sana import ng mga foreigners to work sa bansa, sa turismo, so local staff na lang, local people. O kaya kung for example, kung sa Tagaytay, puro mga taga-Tagaytay lang, or sa Gentry, puro mga taga-Gentry lang. Ang ng DOT is to have a recruitment program where a minimum of 80% of the employees come from within the region. Okay, so dapat ganun sana. 80% come from within the region. Yan. And yung mga supplies naman, for example, tourism supplies, mga raw materials, at least 30% are obtained from within the region also. So, of course, in order to make this happen, tourism education and skills training programs must be made available. Yung ating mga local people, so dapat may alam sila. Dapat they are skilled. Okay, dapat mayroong mga available training programs for them para sila na lang yung kukuhain instead of the outside people. So, yun. Okay. So, of course, kailangan ay to promote responsible tourism by tourists and the establishment alike. So, kailangan din yan. As much as possible, to protect the environment, yung single-use plastic dapat maban. Ban ang single-use plastic. Dapat merong, to save energy, ma-impose yung paggamit ng LED lighting. Magkaroon tayo ng mga water-saving toilets. And, yun. So, yung mga importante to manage the impacts of tourism. Okay, so how to maximize the local benefits? Ito na yata yung sabi ko kanina. How to maximize the local benefits from tourism? So, local sourcing of raw materials and recruitment of local staff, promoting responsible tourism by tourists and establishments alike. Sorry. Napabilis yung pindot ko. Okay, so yung slide na yon is negative impact, negative impact avoidance strategies. Pasensya na, napabilis yung ko. However, those are actually self-explanatory, and I'm going to send you a PowerPoint of this. Okay, so yung negative impact avoidance strategy, so nakalagay doon. Okay, so how are we going to prevent the occurrence of negative impact on a destination? Ito kasing slide na to, negative impact minimization strategies. To minimize lang. Yung isang slide na lagpasan ko is avoidance. Okay, so para ma-avoid yung negative impact. Okay, so sabihin ko lang, okay, but I'm going to give you the PowerPoint. Isasend ko rin. Okay, so some of the negative impact avoidance strategies, so build airports away from the populated areas to prevent noise pollution and traffic congestion. Construct shopping malls on the ground, the hotel rooms atop the shop malls, which block traffic noise. Okay, may mga building kasi like sa Manila, sa UN Avenue, yung baba, building, yung baba is shopping mall, sa taas naman ay hotel room. So, dapat ganon para at least hindi marinig ng mga guest sa hotel yung ingay from traffic. Ano pa ba? Use porous materials for roads to reduce rain runoffs and flooding. Recharge water tables. Okay, so as much as possible, sana yung na-absorb ng road yung tubig ulan. Okay, para hindi mag-cause ng baha. Shade street lights to direct light downwards to prevent glare and light trespass. Install lights away from the beachfront. Install sewage treatment plants in resource area, and so on. So, basahin nyo na lang yung PowerPoint. Okay, so let's go to negative impact minimization strategies. So, if hindi talaga completely ma-avoid yung mga negative impact, so at least ma-minimize natin yung mga negative impact na yun by doing these strategies. Kasi many negative impacts that are brought about by tourism cannot be entirely avoided. So at least ma-minimize na lang natin. So these are some examples. Use porous materials for roads to reduce rain runoffs and flooding. Recharge water tables. Plant trees to counter air pollution and absorb road noise. Install low-flow toilets in tourism facilities to conserve water. Implement urban, URBAN, renewal plan to revive decaying parts of a city. Adopt regular preventive maintenance of motorized vehicles. Okay, dun sa implement urban renewal plan, so pwede at least tanim ng puno, okay, dun sa mga decaying parts of a city. Okay, so negative impact mitigation, okay, strategies. Okay. Okay, so sa mitigation kasi, when you say mitigation, andun na yung risk. Okay, andun na yung problema. So, ang kailangan na lang is to create a risk mitigation plan to make it less risky. Okay, to reduce the risk. So, yun yung mitigation. So, for noise, install noise barriers or noise tunnels along expressways in cities. Use porous materials for roads to absorb noise. Use ground rubber for footpaths or pedestrian sidewalks. Place the hotel rooms away from the roadside. Plant trees to absorb road noise. Sa light naman, sa mitigation strategies, require lights to be turned off at a specific time at night. Minimize the use of spotlights and decorative lights. Install motion sensors to turn on or off lights automatically. Ban intense headlight on cars. Water naman, waterways and pollution, ban sunblock and lotions with microbeads on beaches. Restrict eating to designated dining areas. Use low-flow toilets. Install water restrictors in showers. Recover gray water for other uses like watering gardens. Solid waste. Reward people who do not leave leftovers in buffet restaurants. Practice reduce, reuse, recycle. Transport waste from island destinations. Prohibit of plastic bottles and snacks with plastic packaging into tourist sites. Ban chewing gums. Use liquid soaps instead of bar soaps. Visual pollution, so ban graffiti and vandalism, ban littering, provide trash bins at strategic places. Air pollution, convert to hybrid or purely electric vehicles, install renewable energy devices such as wind turbines and solar panel, prohibit smoking. Crowding, implement a booking system, construct tunnels and subways, promote alternative tourist sites, divert highways away from tourist sites, increase user fees, admission fees, and toll fees. Okay. Types of compensatory mitigation strategies. So to make up for the destruction of a certain area due to tourism, the government may adopt compensatory mitigation methods. So we have the restoration, establishment, enhancement. So restoration, the reestablishment or rehabilitation of a site that has been damaged by tourism development. So ang example daw nito is yung when mangroves are replanted in a once lush mangrove forest area that had been cleared for the construction of tourism infrastructure or facilities. So, ibig sabihin, kung halimbawa merong mangroves na naapektuhan, okay, because of the construction of tourism infrastructure or facilities, so kailangan natin mag-replant. Kumbaga, kung meron kang pinutol na puno, kada pinutol mo na puno is you have to replace it by replanting. So, yun yung restoration. Establishment or creation, the development of a habitat through the manipulation of the physical, chemical, and or biological characteristics of the site. Okay, so, parang ganun din, para din siya sa restoration. Ano nito is, for example, planting trees in a new site as compensation for the destruction of another forested area due to tourism development. Okay, so, kumbaga sa ibang lugar, papalitan mo yung nasira mo. So, yun yung establishment or creation. Okay, enhancement, the activities conducted with the existing habitat that heighten, intensify, or improve one or more habitat functions. Ang enhancement, okay, to enhance, so ang specific purpose here is to improve, for example, improve water quality, improve yung mga wildlife habitat, ma-improve yung flood water retention para maiwasan yung pagbaha. Okay, so yun yung enhancement. Okay, enhancement, the specific purpose is to do an improvement. Okay, alright. Tourism impact indicators. Indicators are variables that provide a measure of the environmental, economic, social health, or tourist destinations. Here we have the tourism economic impacts. Contribution of tourism to the GDP. Contribution of tourism to total employment, value of input source from within the province or region, the proportion of employees from the municipality or province. So, itong tourism economic impacts, kumbaga ito yung indicators, okay, para malaman natin na may nagagawang maganda ang turismo sa ekonomiya. So, ito yung nagiging batayan or naka-base dito para malaman if tourism is contributing to the economy. Tourism, social impact naman, so crime statistics peace and order situation, prostitution, human trafficking incidents, attendance at festivals, development of culinary heritage, funding for national artists, schools of living traditions, and destinations. So, um, ito, ito naman yung criteria para malaman mo kung gaano naman naaapektuhan ng turismo ang mga tao or ang mga society. So, ito yung criteria natin or indicators. And then sa environment naman, so ito yung mga indicators, arrivals compared to the carrying capacity of the destination, water turbidity, carbon, and other chemicals in the air are measured in micrograms per cubic meter. Amount of solid waste collected, and the surface temperature. Okay, so yun na-discuss natin dito, process for managing the environmental, economic, and social impacts of tourism. So it also identified the various strategies for managing tourism impacts with a focus on the mitigation of negative impact. So the chapter provided examples of impact indicators also. Okay, so that's all for chapter 9. Thank you very much.